welcome back to Old School Moto. I'm going to call this one the Glendon Aftermath. And so yeah, after our weekend away riding and stuff, bike's copped a little bit of a pounding. Nah, not really, but some things did show up that need to be repaired going forward. So I'm just going to show you what they are, and we're going to do them, and that's going to be the content for this little video. Alright, so let's go to it. So first of all, my bike, what happened here, we've got a leak in the tappet cover. I'll just turn this around and show you. So what we have is we have a leak coming from this half moon here. I mean, obviously it's all cleaned off, but it was all covered in oil, which is kind of normal in a way for these kind of things that they leak. So basically all I've got to do is pop the cover off, and I'm just going to reseal it, because that's really all it needs. It doesn't need a new gasket. That was all brand new, only 4 or 5 hours ago. So that's one thing. And the other thing, that I guess all the rocks brought this forward, but we'll just try and sort of, I don't know if you can see it or hear it, but front wheel bearings have gone. Got a bit of movement there. So what I have, thanks to MX Store, I've bought a kit which is 2 new wheel bearings and 2 new seals, so that's going to fit that. On my son's bike over there, the KTM, on the brake pedal, the bearings in here have gone and flopping around like, yeah, well, like an old woman, so and so. But anyway, we've got a couple of new bearings to drop in there. So that's one. That's 3 things all up so far. And what problem we had on the KX is that there's some damage to the steel fitting here that goes onto the rear caliper, and it's just weeping slightly. Like we've still got brakes, but it's just weeping slightly, and it's not out of the joint, not out of the copper washers. It's actually out of the tube, the steel tube that comes from the fitting to connect. So we've got a couple options here. We can just replace it, we can get it brazed, or we can get a whole new one made up by what they call it, like a hydraulic line doctor type thing. So yeah, so that's where it's at, and I'm going to do all that and get them ready for the next ride. Alright, let's do it. Just going to drop the front wheel out and do the wheel bearings on this first, then I'll move on to the tappet cover. Okay, so I'll pop the seals out. It's hard to tell, that one sort of feels okay, but we'll rip it out. Yeah, hard to tell, but anyway, rip them out and replace them. Okay, so new bearing, and the socket is a little bit large, but fortunately the recess for the bearing will allow that socket to go in to a lip, which will be enough to seat the bearing properly. So you can see it fits in, and all I have to do is set that on top, and I can belt that one in. Okay, so I'll do that, put the camera down, do that, do the other side, should be good. Okay, just another important thing, the seal. I'm going to need to put some grease around inside it. I'm going to just rub a film of grease over the outside just so that it'll slip in there easy and that it won't be dry spinning on the axle. So, okay. Oh, and you can see obviously that bearing's all seated, so yeah, I'm going to do the seal, flip it over and do the same on the other side. Okay, seal's in, a little bit of grease around the inside, flip the wheel over and let's not forget to put the spacer in, very important. Alright, so next bearing, I've just put a slight amount of grease around the outside, very light, just so that's going to help that seat in place. And again, same procedure as the other side. Alright, you get the idea. And of course then we'll do the same with the seal and that'll be done. Put it back on the bike. Okay, both bearing seals and the spacer are in. So I think we'll just throw that back on the bike and see how it goes. Alright, so the wheel is back in place. Just going to tighten up the axle. And obviously the thing you do before you tighten these bolts, as probably you already all mostly know, is you spin the wheel and slap on the brake so that it centers on the axle and doesn't bind the forks. So that is all good. Tighten these up. Tighten these up. Okay, can't do it one-handed, so I'm going to put the camera down, tighten these up, and then we'll have a look at it. Okay, so I've tightened those down to the torque setting of, yep, you're tight, and the same with that one. Okay, and now there is no movement in that front wheel, no side to side, rock solid, so that should actually feel a whole lot better when you're riding it too. Okay, one job done, on to the next. Okay, so the next little job is to replace the bearings in this KTM brake pedal. Two new bearings, two stuffed bearings in there, and I'm just going to use the method with the socket and the bigger socket on the other side and squeeze about in the vise. Okay, so we've got them here. Small socket pressing on the small part of the bearing and another tube socket over the outside that the bearing can fit into. I'm just going to squeeze it up in the vise and see how we go. Righto, so they're all out. I've just put a bit of lube in there and actually a little bit of grease. I'm going to sit that on there, and the bearings, oops, that's fallen off. They'll put a little bit of grease around the outside just to help them slip into place. And there's the old fuckers there, they look pretty sad. But yeah, alright, so I'm going to bang those in and I'll show you when it's done. Okay, so I'll put those in, and I've also just cleaned up the threads and bolts and stuff to make that a little bit easier. I will put some lubricant spray on them, and that's ready for my son to put it back together. Okay, so another day, a little bit more done. Taking the tappet cover off, cleaned up the gasket, clean up the inside of the cover. Just going to reseal it all and put it back on, and that'll be another little job done. Okay, so it's back on now. Just got to clean off all the excess. Yeah, we're all gooed up, so just do that, drop the electrics back in and start reassembly. Okay, so all back together. Air filter's done. Still got to do the chain, but yeah, I'll do that before we go riding. But yeah, okay, so that's it. Ready for the next one.